Hello, welcome to my shop. Today I thought I'd take you on a little tour of what I'm working with here. This is my shop. That's a mess. A couple of printers over there. My 3D printer over here. And my bench. Over here is piles of stuff. I have too much stuff. Some of this you've seen in videos before, and a lot of it you haven't. But there it is. That right there is a big box of wall warts. So, my shop is actually a 10 by 10 bedroom. Wall closet that I won't open. This is my parts bins. This is my tube tester. Still works. That was a good buy. And this is a rack full of stuff where I just keep things. Those are all my capacitors, resistors, or not resistors, but capacitors and transistors and stuff like that that I use all the time. Screws, bolts, nuts. Dead batteries have to go back. This is my old what do you call that thing? Yeah, basically it's a C6A. Doesn't work very well, but it's a good frequency source. Let's see. I got a couple of test benches where I just lay stuff when I'm testing it. That thing is a thing I'm doing for the grandson. A little race car, runs on mousetrap. Another one up here. That's power supply for my ham radio equipment. Up there is just a stereo so I can hook stuff into it to to test and burn in and things like that. Over there we got an ICO 902 Distortion Analyzer that I can hook up to stuff when I'm doing it, like 528E mic processors. I burn them in for several hours to make sure nothing changes, and I can just see that thing. It's not accurate, but it gives me a relative reading, and if anything changes, I know there's something wrong, so I don't do that. That is a 800 watt ham radio linear amplifier that I've never used because I don't have any antennas worth a hoot except for maybe my gutters, and I'm afraid if I pumped that into the gutters they'd fly off the house. So over here is my ham radio, little ham radio station with my ham radios. This is just a computer that I use with that monitor up there for doing digital ham radio when I can, but like I said, all I got is gutter antennas, so they don't work worth a hoot. So I don't do much of that. Got 2 meters and a 440 rig. And over here is my collection of watt meters for doing for when I'm doing ham radio stuff. Finally got this one. That one's kind of nice. It does 25 megahertz to 1,000 megahertz, all in one bird. It's not the greatest. You have to read off the back of it to actually find out what your wattage is, but hey, it works. I got a little Drake WV4. Works great. Got it cheap at a ham fest, and a Swan and other people WM2000 through watt meter and reflected meter that I can use for that for on the bench for stuff that a little higher power. Let's see, up there is my dummy load and switch for antenna to dummy load for when I'm doing this. There's my stack of resistors, and thank you, Terry, for the big tall box of red boxes there, because those are full of resistors that he gave me. He says, hey, you want these things? Oh, heck, sure, yeah. Those boxes are hard to find. That's my box full of different kinds of connectors. Alright, so let's get on with the bench here. Soldering station, desoldering station, hot air crap. It's cheap stuff, except for the Heiko 888. I like that. That works good. My refrigerator for cold snacks and keep my solder in and things that need to be kept. Deviation meter over here. Just auto setting deviation meter so I can just check it. It works. It was broke when I got it. Most everything was broke when I got it. Let's see. From the top. That is a AM stereo transmitter for checking AM stereo radios. I don't know why I get them, but I do. That is a 50 megahertz function generator. It works fine. It was broke when I got it. Bad power supply. Down below that we've got my pride and joy ESA L1500A spectrum analyzer with output. Yay. Tracking generator. That makes all the difference in the world. Underneath that is a Lcr 9314L 300 megahertz digital scope. It's okay. That's the best I can say for it. It was broke too when I got it, but that was just the board. There's a board inside that was loose, and I had to fix that. But hey, I got it for a couple $100. Wasn't too bad. Down here, as we move to the left, oh, that's just a little stereo amplifier for those speakers. Everything's setting on for them, so I can test on the bench audio stuff. That's my Motorola R2000 communication service monitor with its own little spectrum analyzer. That is a great piece of equipment, and it seems to be extraordinarily accurate. Got that cheap. Actually, I did not have to fix that one. I just got lucky on that one. That's my Tektronix 2221A digital storage oscilloscope with analog input, so that you have to have an analog input scope. And that one was inexpensive. It's 100 megahertz, and it does what I need it to do, and that's all. That right there is my frequency counter. It's a ProTech, nothing great, but it works, and it's good to a gig and a half. Over here in the middle, that is a little electronic load that I built. It's good to about 3 amps and 50 volts. Good for checking batteries and that kind of stuff. My 30 volt power supply, voltage and current regulated. Use that all the time. Let's see, down here I've got my set of HPs. The one on the right is a oscillator. It's a 204B oscillator, and the one on the left is a 403B AC voltmeter. Had to change all the batteries in it and everything. I think I did a video on that one. Over here we've got the my YouTube counter for YouTube subscribers, and I'm up to 1170. Yay. Down below that is the cheap FY 3200S arbitrary function generator. I did put a isolation transformer inside of that so that it is not connected to the lines in any way whatsoever, and it works just fine. It has a strange quirk that every once in a while I'll turn it on, it'll be off frequency, but I don't use it for a frequency standard. I just use it for output. Down below that I got my Vici multimeter, which I use constantly. And down below that, I've got my Hewlett Packard H3478A multimeter with ohm sense 4 input ohm sense for low measurements. This guy is what I use on my videos. It's a peak meter with a USB output that's fast enough to keep up with me. It does a pretty good job. I like it. The only problem with it is that the diode and noise, the beeper, is so slow to be useless. You can have those things held together for a second and a half before it ever beeps, so that's worthless. But hey, it puts it on the screen so that I can do my videos. Over here, that thing is just a little signal injector and tracer that I built up a long time ago. This is a scope. What's the name of it? A Handtech 20 megahertz scope that goes into the computer so I can do stuff online on the videos. I have a couple of monitors up here that are attached to my computer, as well as that monitor. The big one is attached to my computer also, so that I can not have to look sideways and crane my neck, because I'll tell you, that gets old real quick. Let's see what else we got. I got a couple more pieces of equipment. This is my Lcr meter. Nice little piece of equipment, works well. Doesn't go up very high in frequency, but for audio it's perfect. That's just a regular old meter for doing resistors, capacitors, and inductors. It works pretty good. I like it. Over here is a RF frequency sweep generator that I use. It's not accurate in any way because of the dial, but it does do a nice sweep, and it puts out a fair amount of power so that I can pick it up anywhere in the shop that I need it, and I use that quite often, actually. And then down here, I've got my real HP 332A Distortion Analyzer that I use all the time. It's good down to about 0.01% distortion with the cables I've got. There's just too much noise in here for anything else. And then underneath that is my Fluke 6060AN synthesized RF signal generator that I use as another frequency source. I have several frequency sources. I've got that thing, I've got that thing, I have that thing, and I have that thing. So I've got frequency sources all over the place, and you need them if you're going to be doing cans like input-output cans for ham radio, where you're doing like 470 or 460 something in and 469 something out. You need several sources to be able to do it. Oh yeah, and down there I've got a little power supply that I built a long time ago. I don't use it very often. It's only good for about an amp. It's a Elenco. Yeah, whoops. It's a little Elenco dual plus and minus voltages. It comes in handy, but you know, it's only good for an amp, so you can't use it too much. What else? Oh, and there's my Tenma. This is a full isolation transformer that I use it constantly for everything that I do, so that I'm not don't blow things up. And that is connected directly into a dim bulb tester that I built out of, it's just one of those blue boxes with a hole cut in the top, and the switches, you can turn it on and off, and this is your test and bypass. It works fine, does it great. Just change light bulbs when I need it, and and let's see, what else? There was something else. Oh, and that, my newest addition, that is my B&K Model 178 solid state FET voltmeter. I like having a meter, a real meter, when I'm reading stuff, to watch the needle swing when you're aligning receivers or something like that. It's just better than having that little digital dial or whatever go across. And above that is a senior voltomist that I fixed that works great if I want another meter for something. And then up there is a Mr. Carlson special Diode Tester. It'll give you neat properties for diodes and Zehners, and it's great for testing. Goes in and goes out as on chips, because you can have something look like it's working right, but you take that and you test it, and it's going to show different from point to point. So it works great. I mean, I can't say enough about Mr. Carlson's stuff. So anyway, there we go. There is my shop. Like I said, 10 by 10 foot room, and jammed in here pretty hard. But we're it's what I need, and it works. And someday I might even get more stuff. No, I can't get more stuff. I got more stuff than I need now. Hey, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.